Thank you for being here. Welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, I'm going to talk about a topic that probably affects more people than they realize when it's actually happening to them. And sometimes they don't realize at all, they don't get any answers. And the topic today is about how to recognize narcissistic abuse cycle and what it looks like in the workplace. A lot of times we find ourselves in work environments in which we tend to fall into these traps. And especially if you have a narcissistic supervisor or a manager or a CEO or a CFO that you work closely with. And if you have suffered trauma in your early childhood, you are a sitting duck for the boss to pull you into a narcissistic abuse cycle. If you have experienced anything like where your boss, they started to devalue you and then time came for discarding, and it caught you by a surprise, you were absolutely shocked because you did not see the signs. So I'm going to show you how to look for those signs and how to protect yourself so you don't fall into these traps. So when you find a job and you are very well received and your boss basically is letting everyone know what a wonderful employee that they have found, how much experience this employee has, and that this employee is going to come and actually change so much for them and make the program much better and will actually help in building the program. And this is the love bombing stage. Yes, if the love bombing is like, you are the best and elevating you in front of everyone, even in meetings, and wanting you to come and sit next to them. So you're getting all this attention that you probably never got from your family of origin. Growing up, perhaps the parents were abusive, they were neglectful, or there were other kinds of abuses that you experienced in your childhood. So this kind of attention feels so good. It's like, oh my God, I finally am getting recognized that I'm worthy enough, that I'm good enough. So you fall into this trap. And then to make things worse, the boss calls you. They call you at different times of the day. Sometimes they call you in the evening and they talk to you for hours on the phone. And they're talking about other coworkers and how they're frustrated and who they like, who they don't like. They will actually share personal information about these coworkers that you work with. And so they're setting the stage for you to come and tell them anything that you see about these coworkers. But you don't really know what the plan is because they have a plan, because they've been doing this thing for such a long time. They have mastered the art of deceit. They have mastered the art of manipulation, gaslighting, and trauma bonding. And if you suffer from trauma, you're going to fall in this trap. So let's talk a little bit more about this, the love bombing stage, the idealization stage. So while your boss is telling you all these secrets about all these different coworkers and having you sit next to them in all the meetings, pouring coffee for you, pouring tea for you. You are the savior for the company, basically, and you fall for it. And you work so hard, you're loyal, you sing praises about this supervisor, this boss, manager, to everyone. Wherever you go, you're just singing their praises, how wonderful they are, and really making them look good in front of people that would bring business to them. And also recruiting, helping in building the program. And since you probably were chosen to do that, that was the reason you were being set up for the narcissistic abuse cycle. And you're not the only one. I'm sure there are other people in that company that probably are also part of this abuse cycle, but maybe not in your abuse cycle. So there may be abuse cycles going on with different people in the company, but nevertheless, the narcissistic boss will set up narcissistic abuse cycles with various departments within the company. So then comes the devaluation, and that's when you start to devaluing you. And that is when you realize that all these people who were so admiring, complimenting you, supporting you, you notice that there's a change in their attitude. They're not as friendly as they used to be. You have to approach them, and they almost appear to be wanting to ignore you. And you don't know what's going on. So you run to your boss, and the boss now wants to start texting. So when you start texting, she's getting a record or he's getting a record of what you're saying. So now they have what they need. But the process that's going on is that they're actually talking to different staff and talking about you, because now they are starting to. So before they enter the discarding phase, they have to devaluate in front of all the other people. Now, when there's a meeting, the boss actually wants to look the other way and do not want you to come sit next to them. Matter of fact, they make a point of being very cold, very distant, to show everyone that they have been talking to about you, that you're not happy with this person anymore. Yet, they will share emails with you when they are trying to set you up, while you think that this is, I'm so important, that they are sharing very personnel emails with you, their email exchanges with other employees. But what's happening is that they're actually setting you up against them. So when you read that, you recognize, well, my boss doesn't like this person, therefore I'm not going to like them either. And so now the splitting has started. And so they're pitting you against another staff member while they're elevating this staff member now, because this staff member is going to do something for them, whereas what you were supposed to do, you've already done that for them, and they may not need you anymore. So this abuse cycle is not recognized, especially if you've suffered from trauma. So then comes the discarding phase. And in this phase, they don't text you anymore, they don't call you anymore, and if they see you, they look the other way, and then you start to feel the hostility from other coworkers. And it's not that anything that you said to them about any of these people or spoke ill of them or negative about them, but it's just the way these work. They use employees and they want to get rid of them when they've gotten what they need from them. So the discarding phase starts. So then they start to, they won't do it directly, but they will do it through other people. So if there's someone that you work very closely with, all of a sudden they're not going to be very cooperative. They may not be as easy to work with anymore as they were in the idealization phase. And you don't know what's going on because nothing is making sense. How did this happen? How did I get from where I was getting all the attention to where now I am on the outside looking in? And this is so painful. Not only is it painful, it really affects your self-esteem. It almost makes you question your own self, just as it was in early childhood. So you have to be very careful when you go and work within a company. And the most important thing is having a boundary, because they actually do not have boundaries. They don't respect boundaries, and they don't want you to have a boundary. And so they will cross your boundary and expect you to be there. And whenever they call you, they expect you to answer the phone, answer the email. And if they want you to come into the office, they expect you to be there. And then you start to notice that there are conflicts that are being created that you were not even aware of. But these conflicts were created, and you were the one who was being blamed, that it was your fault. So we go through this abuse cycle, okay? So idolization, devaluing, and discarding. And in the discarding the phase, there are other people, they bring other people to push you out. And the narcissistic abuse doesn't stop. So in case you got a bonus from your boss and you are like, wow, I am worthy enough. I am good enough. I am being recognized. Not so fast, because they may take you somewhere and have you spend that money because it benefits them. And you did not realize what was really happening till it's already happened. So be very vigilant when you go to work. Have boundaries, pertain to your job. If your boss is talking about other coworkers, do not engage. Do not share any information about anyone. And if there's texting, be very careful what you text, because the boss is going to try to get you into this trauma bond with them. They're going to gaslight you. So it is intermittent reinforcement, but it's intermittent. It's not on a continuum. Okay. And so now, if they think that you're not going to play their game, or they're not going to be successful in bringing you into this narcissistic abuse cycle, they may just discard you from the very beginning and let you go. But watch out when your boss or manager or a CEO or a CFO starts to talk to you about other employees, and especially sharing very personal details about their finances and about their personal lives and about their marriages and about their divorces and about their argument, just personal stuff that is not necessary for you to have. You don't need that. You don't go to work for that, but they're master at that. So they kind of pull you in. I hope that you find this video to be helpful. If you have encountered anything of this sort, please leave a comment for me or two. And I look forward to having you on my channel. If you've liked this video, please hit the like button and subscribe to my channel. Thank you so much, and I'm wishing you the best.